Hey, what is going on, Dog Pack? Welcome to another episode of the Dogs Podcast. Josh Hall, Kenny Mack, and the Dog Pack down here in the audience. I am on a freaking other level high right now. Just got the big news before we went live here in the Dog Pack Discord episode. Paul DePodesta is out of here. Yes.
That's right,
Woo! Man, oh man, I'm so excited. This is like the happiest I have been about the Cleveland Browns in a long time because they suck. There's been nothing to be super happy about. This is, oh man, these are prayers answered right here.
Yeah, man, I can't believe it. We were talking about, this great news that just came about. And I was saying how I was driving and my phone's going off. My first thing's going, or my Apple Watch is going off. I'm going, oh, I know practice was done. What happened? Oh no. And then this comes about and it looks like a new direction for us.
Woo, Jordan in the chat says, what does that mean for us? It means that we are no longer under this dark cloud shadow of this Moneyball Ivy League brain trust bullshit that we have been suffering from since 2016. Paul DePodesta was the architect of the 1-31. He was the one who was I don't know if he was the leading, but he was part of the decision to go and get Deshaun Watson. He is the main driver of all the stupid analytics that we use that clearly don't work, the pass happy crap, just everything that has been bad about the Browns. If you guys have watched this show for the last 2-3 years, you know I have been harping on this like crazy. Get rid of this guy. He is a disaster. Chief Strategy Officer for the Browns since 2016. I believe it was a total record over all those years. 9 years? 56, 99, and 1. We were ass when Paul DePodesta was here.
I mean, even you get into the point where you're Paul DePodesta, like, do you want that record getting any worse? You sometimes you're in quicksand, you can't get out of it. We know he's not a football guy, and he just wasn't getting the results. He's the one who probably put his resume in first, going like, I'm not doing this. I can't do this, And I'm sure he's a competitive guy. He may even be a nice guy, but it was not getting it done here, and it wasn't doing the Cleveland Browns any favors.
I don't know if he's a nice guy or not, and I don't care. I hated him. I hated him so much. You guys know it. You guys know how much I hated this guy. Just so like Brad says in the chat, just chilling out in San Diego. We got the chief strategy officer for the Cleveland Browns, never in the building. He just lives out in San Diego, remotes in, and just gets his little Moneyball bull crap into everybody's ears. And oh man, this is like.
Talking about hiding out, like I would think sometimes, like even with this move by the Browns or him leaving or whatever it is, I forget he's on the team.
Yeah.
Then things wouldn't pan out, or he'd be there for the first presser of the year. And then you're like, oh, this guy still does stuff. Man, this ain't working.
Yeah, and the people that want to push back every time I bitch about Paul DePodesta are like, everybody says they don't even know what he does. If you don't know what he does, then, how can you say he's the problem? The Browns official website says what he does. And in the write-up, I didn't pull it up here. Hopefully it's already gone. I hope they ditched his profile off the website already. But it said that he was like a leading thought partner, or heavily involved in every single decision throughout the organization. Like he was the chief strategy officer. Like that's his title. Of course he's involved in all of the stuff we're doing.
Yeah, that's the thing I pulled up too, is that weird quotations. He was a thought partner. Yeah. So basically anytime there was a decision, it kind of had to go through him and however he processed information for sports.
There's a lot of. Okay, so if you guys have not seen the episode, it was a couple weeks, it might have been a month ago. It hasn't been that long. I did like a whole episode on Paul DePodesta and the Moneyball strategy, the Moneyball philosophy that he developed. He developed out in Oakland with the Athletics and then tried to bring it over here to football. And go back and watch that. But if you've been complaining, or I've heard me complain about Andrew Berry and the scouting department not being able to evaluate talent, well, that's kind of his strategy. That's part of the Moneyball strategy. It's looking at deeper analytics to make decisions on players rather than, and this is quotes, rather than traditional scouting methods. So we've gotten away. That's why you get players in here that as soon as they hit the field, you're like, why did why did we draft this guy, this bum, and I don't want to say like he's the entire reason, obviously. I mean, it takes the whole organization to suck as bad as they've sucked, but he is a driving factor in the suck, and he's finally gone.
Yep. Thank God. Whew. On to the next one, man. On to the next stuff. Let's go.
He is now going to become the head of baseball operations for the Colorado Rockies. Good luck, Rocky fans. That blows for you guys. But if you guys saw my video I put out real quick before this, my reel, I couldn't hold it back. I did have to edit out a couple cursey words, but man alive. So happy. So happy, man. Whew. Okay. Well, we can talk some more about Paul DePodesta. We'll get you guys, if you want to come up here on stage. That was kind of a long intro into the show here, but that news just dropped before we started recording. So this is so much fun now. We're going to be previewing the Jets game coming out of the bye week here for the Browns on Sunday. So if you want to get up here on stage and talk about anything, I would say for the first part of the show here, anything prior to now, like anything before, we can talk about DePodesta. But if you want to get into anything with Shedeur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, Tommy Reese taking over play calling duties, any of that stuff, before we dive into the Jets game specifically, go ahead, get your hands up, and we will dive into it. Brad, I will get you up here as soon as I remind everybody, if you want to be part of these shows, you want to be part of the Dog Pack Discord episodes, go to jointhedogs.com, become an official Dog Pack member on the Patreon page, sync up with the private Discord. You get access to everything in the Discord, all the people in the Dog Pack community. You guys, I love you guys. You are the best in the world. And, if you want diehard Browns fans to hang out with, chat with, talk to, bounce ideas off of, ask questions to, whatever you want to do all week long, 24/7, this is the place to be. So that's jointhedogs.com. We'll get one of these Dog Pack members up here now, Brad. What's going on, buddy? You got me all hyped before this show started.
Sir, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah.
Brad, oh man. How you doing, buddy?
Is dead. The witch is dead.
Yes, I know. That's kind of what was going on in my head.
Super Bowl, Super Browns. Woo. Yeah.
So good. So good.
Dude, I was just like scrolling because I was trying to look for the injury report for the Browns, and I saw one of the insider was reshared by somebody about the Rockies doing something, and then I saw Adam Schefter's post, and I'm like, oh, and then it just trickled down. Then I texted you, Josh, and you're like basically probably like, no way. And,
I had to look. I looked for so many different sources. I'm like, come on, tell me this is not a joke, please.
Well, when it's coming from the Queen of Cleveland, it's true.
That's right. That's right. So what else you got, man?
Well, I mean, now the trade deadline, we traded Paul DePodesta away to the Rockies, so that was probably the best trade we did.
Damn straight. I will take that over any moves. Any moves. Who needs Garrett Wilson?
Football,
we get Paul DePodesta out
here. Yep.
As far as the Jets game, all I want us to do is not lose. That's all. I just no, don't lose. That's all I ask. Just don't lose the game. Because now we're kind of going into Sunday. Paul DePodesta's gone. We have a little momentum, a little positivity. And what do the Browns like to do when we get positivity? They like to rain with negativity.
They like to kick you square between the legs. That's how they take care of business in there in Cleveland. That's for sure.
I mean, this kind of reeks of the Raiders situation last year, where we were kind of on a high. I think we may have been coming off a win. We find out that Crosby and who's the other guy, the receiver, they weren't playing in the game, and we were like, we got this. It's on the road. And it didn't happen. Now they lose two of their best players. This sets up quite nice for us. And you got to run that ball, but let's see what happens. I don't want to be negative. I want to take this positivity of these changes and move it forward into something big.
Absolutely.
Yes, let's bring the positivity into positive things happening on Sunday, like Quinchon getting another 100 yards rushing game.
Well, that's
something that should happen. That's something that should happen for sure.
All right. Well, I'll let Tony up here now.
All right. Sounds good, man. We'll bring you back up, I'm sure, later. Tony coming up on stage to chat. What's going on, man?
Tony, my man,
how you guys doing?
We are
good. It's a happy day.
It is, but it brings up so many questions now, right? Like, was Dylan Gabriel really Stefanski's guy, or did analytics say that DePodesta said, no, this is our dude. We're just going to have Stefanski feed in it because he fits his offense. Or was, Shedeur another Paul DePodesta? Like, there's so many questions that blow in my head now, especially with the wake of the trade deadline, and him and Haslam have been buddy. So it's like, did they say, hey, we're going to, because we didn't agree with you with how you wanted to go by this trade deadline of all these people that we could have got or got rid of, we're going to say, hey, let's mutually part ways, right? You'll find a job. We're not going to fire you, have said, but those are all what ifs, who knows, but it's happy. It makes me really happy. Hopefully we can actually go in and, draft a wide receiver now in the draft and, say, hey, this is what we need. Not this analytics BS. Like, we need a wide receiver. Go get the best wide receiver. His name's Cardinal Tate. He plays for Ohio State. Let's grab him. But in reality, that's all I want to say about that. But with the Jets game coming up, with Tommy Rees being the new offense coordinator, I want to tell all Browns fans this. Don't expect a huge difference week one. I know he's had a couple weeks of preparation, but it takes a while to implement, especially with the way they talked about Reese. He's going to bring in a lot of the college stuff, things that they run down to, I believe it was Alabama and Notre Dame. I think he was both that, right?
Yep.
If I'm correct. Right. He's going to bring a lot of that college things. You'll probably see a little bit more RPO action, but I don't think you're going to see a ton of it just because that's a whole new playbook. It's going to take guys a while to learn, which we'll see how that works. But I said, for the Jets game, you're still going to see Stefanski's stamp mark on the game of run the ball a lot and everything along those lines. Which brought up my point, said I wouldn't be surprised if we see another breakout game from Junkins, especially with Quentin Williams out, who is one of the best run defenders in the NFL, to have another 100-yard game. And if it's anything like Miami, don't be surprised if you see 2 or 3 more touchdowns in that game as well.
Yeah, I agree with you on that for sure. So let's see. If anybody else wants to come up, talk about the Jets game or anything else, go ahead and get your hands up in the chat. I'm going to go through my spiel about the game real quick just to fill everybody in, and hopefully nothing breaks on my end or Discord's end for the recording here, because that was a pain in the butt. This episode is sponsored by W3 Schools. Have you ever wished you knew how to write web programming code? Before I launched my website design business, I knew exactly nothing about writing web code. The languages were so foreign to me, and I didn't have a clue where to begin, but that's when I discovered W3 Schools, and that's also when everything changed for my career. Right now, you guys can head over to campus.w3schools.com/dogs and use promo code DOGS, DAWGS, to get 20% off select certification collections. Now, W3 Schools is the largest online web developer site with tutorials and courses to help you learn and improve your skills in writing code. HTML, CSS, JavaScript, SQL, Python, and more. Dive into an extensive library of courses, lessons, quizzes, and interactive exercises on W3 Schools campus. Whether you're a beginner like I was when I started, or you're an experienced coder, there is something for everyone. Track your progress as you learn, revisit areas that you need to improve on, and advance at your own pace with real-time feedback and results. I can tell you guys firsthand, I would not be where I am today without W3 Schools. Our website, thedogspodcast.com, would not exist without the knowledge and skills that I learned through the user-friendly and easy-to-follow tutorials from W3 Schools. If I can do it, if I can learn it, guys, you can too. Trust me on that. Learning code could take your career to a whole other level that you never even dreamed possible. Earn credentials that show employers what you can do. W3 Schools platform offers certification exams at different skill levels, and you can see your results right away. These industry-recognized certificates help you stand out and get ahead in your career. So don't wait. I fully recommend W3 Schools, obviously, because it was the catalyst that launched my web development career. Head to campus.w3schools.com/dogs and use promo code DOGS, DAWGS, for 20% off today. But anyway, so Sunday, the 2 and 6 Cleveland Browns are heading to MetLife Stadium in New Jersey to face the 1-7 New York Jets. The 1-7 clearly tanking just decimated their defense, New York Jets. The Browns started as a 2.5-point underdog like a week ago, and they are now 2.5-point favorites in this game the last I checked after the Jets traded away some key pieces on Tuesday. The game itself, another really low, gross over-under, a 37.5 point over-under. That is like most of our games, under 40, just disgusting. The Jets are plus 115 to win the game. Like I mentioned, the Jets traded their two best defensive players. They got rid of Sauce Gardner and, like Tony said, Quinnen Williams on the defensive line. They netted 3 first-round picks in doing so, and the Browns only shifted to 2.5-point favorites because of those moves. That tells you what Vegas thinks about our offense and the Browns' ability to score points. Dillon Gabriel will get his 5th start. We can talk about that too here in a little bit if you guys want to get your hands up and all that stuff. Statistically speaking, this will go to a lot of what Tony was saying and maybe Kenny too when he was making his point that I did not hear. The Jets allow 335.4 yards per game to their opponents, 199.6 through the air. That's actually 11th best. Now, of course, Sauce Gardner is gone. But they allow 135.8 yards per game rushing, and that was with Quinnen Williams. That is the 7th worst in the NFL. So in the spirit of KISS, K-I-S-S, you guys know what that means, keep it simple, stupid. Tommy Reese, I'm looking at you, dude. Don't be stupid, like the last guy who was calling plays. Run the damn ball. Get the ball out of Dillon Gabriel's hands. We are still wasting time, in my opinion. We can talk about it. I think we're still wasting time starting a guy who clearly will never be more than a backup. Maybe he'll end up being a good spot start type of quarterback in the NFL, but that might be it for Dillon Gabriel. You have, or you should have, Quinshon Judkins. I believe he's back to practicing and healthy now, so he's ready to pound the rock all game long against, I'll remind you guys, a bottom 10 team in defending the run. And not only are they, like I said, already bottom 10, they just traded away their best interior linemen. So there's no excuses. Just run the ball. Run the ball, win the game. In terms of points allowed, the Jets give up the 6th most points to opponents at 27.7. And don't get it twisted. I'm not envisioning our offense coming anywhere close to scoring 27 points. Maybe as a team, if we get a couple like defensive scores, we could hit 27, 30, something like that. But my expectations for the offense alone, those expectations don't change, whether we face a top 5 defense or a bottom 5 defense. We suck on offense. Like, we don't score, doesn't matter who we're facing. So how bad is the Jets defense? They're the 3rd worst scoring team in the NFL. I'm sorry, our offense is the 3rd worst scoring team in the NFL, 15.8 points per game, and that's with those defensive scores that we've had this year. And special team scores. So no, I don't think the Browns offense are going to sniff 27 points that the Jets allow. Our offense for Cleveland, we generate the 2nd fewest yards per game in the league, just 263.5, 174 passing, which is the 4th worst, and still just 89.5 rushing, which is the 5th worst. So despite having Quinshon Judkins and some juice and spark in the run game, still not very good at it. We are a gross football team, mostly on offense. Defense has been, elite at home. We'll see how we do on the road this time, because on the road this year has not been good. But on defense, we are still the 2nd best defense in the league in terms of yards per game allowed, 276.9. The splits, 182.6 passing. That makes us the 5th best. And we allow 94.3 rushing, which is the 9th best. So top 10 defense in both avenues. Our rushing defense has dropped in recent weeks. The Browns are middle of the pack with 23 points allowed to their opponents. But this opponent is the New York Jets. They are also bad on offense. 300 yards per game, that's better than the Browns, but it's not much better. They are dead last in the NFL in passing yards per game. So this is the worst passing offense in the league, 156.5 yards a game. But they are the 3rd best rushing offense with 143.6 yards per game. They are also bottom 10 in points per game. They don't score very much either, just like we don't score. They only score 21 a game. So the Jets suck at passing, which is why they really want to, I don't know why they want to bench Justin Fields, because the passing isn't very good, but they're very good at running, which is his superpower. You got him, you got Breece Hall, you got Isaiah Davis. These guys, they pose a decent threat to the Browns' run defense, which has been struggling of late defending the run. So the Browns and Jets both have 10 turnovers on offense, but the big difference, the Browns' defense also has 10 takeaways. How many takeaways does the Jets' defense have this year? 1. Not very good. So if Dylan Gabriel comes out and has multiple turnovers again in this game, it's going to be against a defense that absolutely sucks at taking the ball away. So let's get back to keeping it simple. Do not let Dylan Gabriel throw the ball more than he needs to, and just run the freaking rock. All right, so let's see if I can get Kenny back up here on stage. Hopefully he's got his technical issues figured out. Kenny, what are we thinking, man?
Can you guys hear me all right?
I can hear you. Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I don't know what was going on. You sounded like you were in slow motion in a robot for a while. So
okay, so it had to be something
what's going on there.
Something on your end.
You were kind of. I hope you guys didn't talk about this while I was away. But I mean, what you need to do to beat the Jets is what Tommy Rees did at Notre Dame, and basically what he did is he ran the ball. He used 21 personnel, and he always stayed ahead of the chains. One of the biggest pieces of criticism against him in the college game was that he tried staying ahead of the chains. And what does that mean is, like, if you get a 1 yard run on, which we more likely than will with this offensive line, and you're 2nd and 9, he'll go right back to the run. Now, that may not be a bad thing for this Jets team that we're facing based on the rush yards that they allow. But I think it sets up well enough for the people that they lost that they should be able to use the talent that they have. So the tight ends and the running backs to get a win in this game. And, but we'll see on Sunday.
Yeah, for sure. Brad, you're up here too, man. What's going on?
Hey-o. Three things I want from the Browns on Sunday. First thing, I want Dylan to throw for more than 10 yards. More than one time. At least like 3 or 4 times. Not just like one or twice and then you're like, well, that's not working. Like, just get that ball down the field. I mean, hopefully, Tony said, kind of is like, don't expect like a whole lot of different things the first week Tommy's in there, even though he had an extra week. Sort of they were kind of like describing how the bye week work is like, yeah, there's an extra week, but there's really not an extra week. Because like a lot of players get like 3 to 4 days off on that bye week or something like that. So like something like that. I don't think they even practice till this Monday anyway.
Yeah.
So
yep.
So, I mean, yeah, maybe he did. Maybe they had like the video conferences kind of like COVID style with the offense, maybe. I don't know. But, I mean, hopefully like Tommy can like be a little more creative with like some gadget stuff. Direct snap to Quinshawn again, because that worked really well, at least from the 10-yard line up to the goal line. But the second thing I want to see is our defense get after Justin Fields, because we're kind of thin at corner, and every time one of these quarterbacks get a little more time running around the pocket, or we leave 1 to 2 guys wide open, and that's what I don't want to see, especially with Garrett Wilson out there. And then the third thing I want to see is, and this is just a real small thing. I just want to see, Andre hit all of his kicks for the game, be it field goals, extra points, just consistency. That's all I want to see. So I'm asking for small things, small things.
You're asking for a lot of small things, Brad. A lot of small things for a very bad team.
I guess it's that small, man. I don't think it's that small. Like, I mean, like, clearly what he wants to do, they want to be more physical in their identity. Like, it's going to be tough with this offensive line. It just all hinges on that. But as far as you were making the point of what Tony was saying, like, I mean, he's going to run a lot of 12 personnel, right? He's going to want to run the rock, like I was saying earlier. So the biggest thing they do, and this is going to be the hard part, is like he wants to create mismatches and different situational stuff. But you know what drives us all crazy when you add that stuff with this team is these motion penalties, man. And that might be the offset of what's going to happen. Now, you said that you want to see him take more than a 10-yard shot. This is like the hallmark of Tommy Rees. Like, he does these, like, almost mind you numbing runs, but he will take, or he should take, based on his previous offensive identity, he should be taking some shots down the field. So that'll be good for Bond. Now, I don't know where he is with his foot. Good for Judy. But the other thing that he may do that we may see is have or upgrade that screen game. So get some short passes to Judy to get him going. And then last but not least, I hope we see, correct me if I'm wrong, we should see some bootlegs, because we haven't seen anything like that all year.
No, I'm with you.
Nope, we haven't.
Okay. I don't know what was going on. So we'll get Colton up here real quick. I like everything you were talking about there, Kenny. We'll come back to some of that stuff here in a second. Colton, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
Just a great day.
Good, man.
It's a great day.
Hey, good.
Other than technical difficulties, it's a great day. Hey,
it wouldn't be if we didn't have to fight through some adversity. We're Browns fans.
That's right, man. Nothing's easy.
Absolutely.
Nothing's easy. Nothing's given. Everything is earned.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, so on Tuesday night's show, Josh, you and Blake were kind of going back and forth, and
We always
had different
do.
opinions. Wouldn't be friends if you weren't.
That's right. That's
but
right.
you guys had differing of opinions of. He was kind of under the understanding, that he thought, it showed humility that Kevin gave up the plate duties, and if things go well under Reese, that, hey, good for Kevin for giving that up and seeing that he wasn't making the right call, basically showing, like I said, his humility. Now, I'm under the understanding, and I think I'm kind of siding with you on this, is that, well, if he knew that all along, why didn't he do it? Why would you handcuff us for 8 games and not let our offense perform at a level that we think it, or know that it should be competing at, and let us struggle for that long? I think that shows selfishness, maybe a little bit of egotism. So I just kind of wanted to get your guys' thoughts on that if Reese comes out here and this offense looks completely different, we're moving the football, we look effective, and we start winning football games, what is really the sign of that moving forward in the future? Like I said, my opinion is just, I think that's selfish, and that's not what I want in a leader. So just want to hear you guys' thoughts. Thanks again.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
Yeah,
To go to what like Kenny and Tony were talking about earlier too, like I don't expect it to look a whole lot different. I think our offense is just so limited. I don't know how you can really do a whole lot more with it, honestly. I mean, obviously you can run the ball a little bit more, maybe run the ball, scheme the run up a little bit better. Like Kenny was talking about, get to some more play actions, run the screen game a little more efficiently, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's still the same crappy players running the same crappy offensive system. It's still the same offensive system. This is still Kevin's offense, which in my opinion is no good anymore. Blake doesn't agree, but I just think it's outdated and it's trash now. Like it doesn't work. And then to kind of go on to what you're saying, back to connect something Tony said about Dylan Gabriel and the Paul DePodesta thing, I do still think nothing has changed in my opinion that Dylan Gabriel was Kevin's pick. I think he really liked him. I just keep going back to the draft, the draft video after they selected him. Kevin was gushing over this kid, his whole family, like he knew everybody by name. I love your mama, tell everybody hi, tell grandma hi, all this crap. And I think that, you talk about him being selfish, running his offense or continuing to do the play call when it's clearly not working. If Tommy Rees could do a better job, it's kind of the same thing with Dylan Gabriel. Daryl Ryder's been complaining about this since preseason. He said they're going to shove Dylan Gabriel down our throats until we're just sick of it. And I just don't think it's going to work, but I think that's what is going on. They're just continuing to put the worst product possible out on the field.
I don't know. I don't know what to say other than maybe he waited this long. He didn't feel Tommy was up to playing calls up to this point or calling a game up to this point for whatever reason. That's the only thing I can think of. I mean, it really comes down to what does Cherry say? He says something about scheme alignment and assignment. That's what he says. I don't know if Tommy Rees calls a game or Kevin Stefanski based on the way that these guys align themselves to take on their blocks or know their assignments, if that's going to change anything. Is there going to be some kind of like way that he calls the game to make that better? I don't know how that is. The screen games are awful. We throw the ball off somebody's ass every time. I don't know what's going to make that change. I don't know what's going to make guys catch the ball better. Maybe there's something that he's going to do that's going to invigorate people, but then that becomes like a kind of like I always say like a whimsical thing, like, oh, like, you know, that doesn't last too long. So if there's a certain way that Josh has been saying where he capitalizes on, you know, play one, you can do a play action off it, and then you start scheming that way. Maybe that's the way it is. And that ends up into buy-in, you know. That's the only thing that I can think of. And he just wasn't ready to this point for some reason. And I think the point is the offense is terrible, and we need to see something else. So
yeah, and I'll remind everybody. I said the last two shows, I think now, when Kevin handed over play calling duties last year to Ken Dorsey, nothing changed. As far as the record, we didn't win any more games. I mean, we won 2 games over that stretch because he had a couple more games in there. And the points per game went down, actually, by like a whole point or something like that. So it was basically the same crappy offense. The only thing that did change a little bit was the overall yards output per game, but Dorsey got play calling, and he also got Jameis Winston with it. So that added to that. It didn't mean anything else on the scoreboard or for the record. It just boosted the yards a little bit. I don't think it really had anything to do with the offensive play caller switch, because if you look at like this year, we're not changing quarterbacks. There's no Jameis Winston, Joe Flacco gunslinger coming in here to make Tommy Rees's numbers look a little bit better than Kevin Stefanski's. It's still Dylan Gabriel. And I think the limitations are vast. This episode is sponsored by Omaha Steaks. Browns fans, when the tailgating weather cools down, that's the best time to get your grills heated up. And you guys know that I always make sure that what I'm putting on my grill is Omaha Steaks, the official sponsor of tailgating, from legendary burgers to mouthwatering steaks, deli-style franks, and everything else you guys could possibly want. You're definitely going to elevate your next game day get-together with America's original butcher. I started out like just tailgating and grilling some Omaha steaks here and there, and it has turned into a family favorite. I get them as gifts for everybody in my family, so everywhere I go for every get-together, it seems like we are always eating something from Omaha Steaks. And right now with this exclusive offer, you guys can get $35 off at omahasteaks.com with promo code BARK, B-A-R-K at checkout. Terms apply. See site for details. Go check out everything they have to offer. Enjoy USDA certified tender steaks, juicy burgers, and more game day favorites like wings, brats, and Philly cheesesteaks. So make game day delicious with the official sponsor of tailgating. Visit omahasteaks.com and get $35 off with promo code BARK at checkout. That's omahasteaks.com and promo code BARK at checkout. Terms apply. See site for details. We got Stacy wants to come on up. Stacy, what's going on?
Hey guys, I'm at work, so I didn't get to catch the beginning of this.
It's okay. It was a mess.
Podcast.
It was a mess. We had technical difficulties.
So if I do say something that was already said, I apologize, but I kind of want to comment and make a little bit of an interesting comment discussion for you guys. So it's a little bit about superstition.
I love it.
So when it comes to Shador and him having this back injury, how much of it do we believe is actually true, and how much of it, like, I don't know why I have this strange feeling that it's the coaches, and by coach I mean Kevin, that doesn't like him, and is he just listing, oh, he's having this back injury, he can't play, and it's just something to keep Dylan in the game and keep him starting. And then my other suspicion or like superstition is, if Shador is going to start at some point this year, why do I feel like it's going to be the Titans game? Because it will be him and Cam Ward facing off, and it'll be kind of interesting and make for maybe some better views. And that's kind of like an NFL superstition. Like if they play quarterbacks and talk to coaches and say like, oh, you need to put them in on this game. I just thought that was fun to bring up.
No, you're good. I know you keep saying superstition. I think what you mean is conspiracy. And we hear a lot of these conspiracy theories going around online, and me and Blake
Yes.
talked about it the other night a little bit. And, you know, Blake won't entertain any sort of conspiracy talk whatsoever, where I mean, I'll listen to anything. I'll listen to any conspiracy talk you guys want to talk about. I love it. No matter what, football or non-football, I love it. Some things are just absolutely off the wall, batshit crazy. And then there's some other things that have some validity to them. And I've been saying for a long time, everything with Shedeur Sanders going back to the draft has been weird. I don't know how else to describe it. It's just been weird with the Browns, weird with the way they've interacted about him, talked about him, utilized him in practice and on the field and things. It's just, I don't know. And they don't really give us any clarification on anything. So everybody's left to their own devices to come up with explanations for things. And yeah, I'm starting to see people say now, well, maybe Shedeur Sanders is, saying his back hurts because he doesn't want to play. Maybe he doesn't think he's right. And maybe the Browns are making it up. Maybe he is really just hurt. I don't know. It's crazy. Kenny, what are your thoughts on all the Shedeur stuff?
Yeah, I don't know what to make of it. And it's such a perplexing thing. Like once that draft pick was made, like first of all, when we had Dylan, we were super perplexed. And then to trade assets up and get Sanders, that's super perplexing, right? And then, to put in our minds, based on what we were seeing in the draft, we can't believe that Shedeur was that much lower than Dylan. And Dylan, it was firing ahead. He had the worst stats of anybody, whether that matters or not, or you track that stuff. And we're in this position right now where we have these two rookie quarterbacks that were drafted closely together, where one guy is like practicing with the firsts and the other guy seems to be throwing to the janitors and he's throwing to the ball boys and all this kind of stuff, throwing his back out, having stomach muscular issues. And so what is going on with this? It's so weird. As far as being superstitious, Stacy probably knows I am, because I wouldn't move my spot to go see anybody until until we beat the Miami Dolphins. But as far as conspiracy theory, I don't think it's conspiracy theory. I just don't think the coaching staff really wanted Shedeur Sanders. That was from either management, the guy that's leaving, and that's it. Like, it's not a conspiracy. They're just not giving him a chance, I don't think.
Yeah, I know. We going back to the preseason, it was, what was it first? Was arm soreness or the oblique first? Which one? I can't remember which order.
Oblique. Thank you. I couldn't remember. It was oblique.
Yeah.
No, it was arm soreness when we were at training camp, because I wanted to see him and I was going to send you some videos.
Yep.
And then it was oblique in the
preseason.
Yep. Because I was wondering, like, oblique can be bad. And then now it's this back stiffness where, back stiffness doesn't keep me off a podcast or a work. So I don't know how stiff his back is.
It is just strange. I don't know how else to put it. I've talked about it a lot here. You had Kevin Stefanski made the call to make Dylan Gabriel the starter week 5 in Minnesota. And then there was the big controversy because he said Joe Flacco will be the backup. Shedeur Sanders will remain the QB3 emergency quarterback. Okay, so that was week 5. Week 6 for Pittsburgh, Joe Flacco is gone. They traded him. So now Shedeur Sanders has to be QB2. So he's QB2 for Pittsburgh, Miami, and then the following week in New England, out with back tightness this week. I didn't see the practice reports today. If you guys got it in the chat, let me know. I know he was limited yesterday, and there's still, that, as Brad says, the Queen of Cleveland, Mary Kay, is still talking about Bailey Zappi could be, the QB2 again if Shedeur's not ready to go. I don't know. It's just... It's frustrating, and I know where a lot of it comes from, too, is because we're so frustrated watching the product on the field with Dylan Gabriel, and we all know, and I'm sure there's some of you guys out there that are like, hey, give the kid a little bit more time. He's only been 4 starts. Let's see if he can grow and develop, and that's fine. I totally understand where you're coming from. I'm just coming from the standpoint of we have 2 first-round picks next year. I would really like to use that first one on Carnell Tate if he's available, even at that spot, because we're not getting him any later. I want the best receiver in the draft. I don't want to have to waste a pick on a quarterback if we already have a guy on the roster who can be the quarterback. The thing is, for me, it's not Dylan, but it could be Shedeur. I need to see if it can be. And every week that we go without seeing Shedeur Sanders on the field is another week closer to just using another first-round pick on a quarterback.
Yeah. It's just very perplexing the way that they've done the quarterback situation. But if you think as Browns fans, you think back to '99, and even when they cut Kozar pre the move, it's the quarterback situation has never ever worked here. It doesn't matter who the owner is, the coach is, the GM. They got to get someone in here to get it right.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. Brad?
Hey, Josh, are you guys streaming the game on Sunday?
We are not streaming the game on Sunday. We had some unforeseen things come up for Sunday, so no, our watch party for the Jets game won't be happening. Now, when we originally planned to do it after the bye week. We were thinking there's a good chance that Shedeur Sanders might be starting that game coming out of the bye, and then clearly that's not happening. So we might do another plan for another date down the road at the back end of the schedule. Like Stacey said, I mean, I was saying it before the season, like that Tennessee game could be a good one because it would be Cam Ward versus Shedeur Sanders. So that one would be a good one to do a watch party. The only problem is Justin won't be there because he will be at the game. But based on the reports, Chicago, the week after that is when Shedeur is apparently slated for his first start, according to Tony Rizzo and whoever his sources were up in the stadium.
Yeah, those guys.
Haslam's grandsons. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, was that the same guys that say that we're going to get Dak Prescott?
Oh, man, I know. Jeez, Al.
No kidding.
But, what was I going to say? As far as Shedeur goes with his back issue, I saw, I don't know who posted about it. I meant to post it in the Discord, but apparently when he was in college, he had a back injury or fractured something
they say
in his back.
He fractured one of his vertebrae.
Yeah, and I guess it lingers time to time, so maybe it's just flaring up. As far as practice goes, Josh, I don't know if you saw, I posted in the Discord that he was a full participant at practice today. So
today,
yeah, so that is promising that he'll be QB2 for Sunday. Buried any setbacks, of course. But yeah, hot take before I leave. Hot take. Browns win by 2 touchdowns.
Ooh, okay.
Ooh, I hope so, bro.
Brad's always coming in here with the optimism at the end of the show for the predictions. My prediction would be a whole lot closer. I think that and the thing is, like, I hesitate to ever pick the Browns to win until I see them do anything consistently. But if they win, I think it's going to be close because these are 2 low-scoring teams, bad offenses. We just happen to have the better defense. Now we're on the road. The defense isn't nearly as good on the road. So does that kind of equalize, our defense versus theirs at home? I don't know. I think it's going to be a tight game, though. Low scoring and tight.
It'll probably be like the Vikings game, 17-14. Like that's I know I say that a lot, but that's basically how we have to win. We can't score more than 14 points.
No.
So, that's what it's going to be. One thing that I'm a little bit like, I'm seeing that Harold Fannin Jr. did not practice today, and it's a hamstring issue.
Oh, geez.
And that's not good.
No.
Yeah.
No, that's not good on a Thursday.
Isaiah, what's that?
That's not good on a Thursday report.
No, and that just popped in. Like, clearly Schlesinger and Bond did not practices either, but they were yesterday. This one just popped on the report. So that's not a good thing, but we'll see what happens. I mean, they got to do something, man. We got to win. So figure that offense out.
No, the way practice reports typically work out, if you've got the Sleeper app for fantasy football, you get notifications all freaking day on Wednesday because that's the first day of practice for pretty much every team of the week. And that's when everybody's getting listed on their injury report. So if anybody's even remotely questionable or limited in that first Wednesday practice, whether they're sick or they're still coming off a little tweak from the week before or whatever, they get put on that limited list. But whenever you're a full participant on Wednesday, like Kenny's saying about Harold Fannin, and then Thursday report comes out and you're a full DNP, did not practice because of a hamstring, that ain't good. That means it happened yesterday in practice, and that really does put his status in question, in jeopardy for Sunday, and it sucks because he's our leading receiver. He's pretty much the only offensive weapon we have that can do anything. I think Njoku could still do stuff, but we just, for whatever reason, can't get the ball to him. I have no idea about our receivers. It's a joke. Man, that sucks about Fannin.
I mean, having Tillman back will add some kind of dynamic to the offense. You want to see some hard screens, and you want to see some button hooks and stuff to get him the ball and get him started early, because he can have the dropsies too. The big thing is, like I was saying about Tommy Rees, and he's going to be in his play calling debut. I mean, he's going to want to create mismatch. Your biggest mismatch creator is Harold Fannin Jr. Not having him is going to be a rough situation. I mean, the only other thing that I see happening is, like, he really wants to pound the rock. You maybe just deactivate Jerome Ford, and then you might have Raheem Sanders because he's a bigger guy. And I've been saying that for a long time.
Well, and also Raheem Sanders is not bitching and moaning on TikTok, apparently, about his position with the Browns. Did you see all that stuff? And I don't know if you guys in the chat saw all that, but apparently Jerome Ford on TikTok was, and I do all the social media, but I am not up on the social media lingo and stuff. Was he favoriting or reposting these videos on his profile about being unhappy at work, hating his job, or whatever? And that came after the trade deadline. So you got guys like David Njoku and Wyatt Teller after the trade deadline saying, hey, thank God they didn't trade me. Like, want to be here, want to retire a Brown, love Cleveland, happy to be here. And then at the same time, Jerome Ford's over on TikTok, passive aggressively, voicing, I guess, his frustrations with the team. I mean, I'm really done with Jerome Ford.
Yeah, so am I. And I mean, they may try to trade him, but the one thing that you have to have in a trade is you have to have a trade partner. And there might have not been anybody that wanted to trade for him at this point,
nope.
Based on his low yards of yak and his inability to get across the line of scrimmage, no matter what the line combination is.
Yeah, I saw somebody, I forget who it was, on Twitter posted, I'm sure the Browns would have jumped at the prospect of trading Jerome Ford for a 7th round pick. They probably didn't get the offer. So
I don't think so.
That is everything for the Jets game. Anybody still in the audience? We got a few minutes left here before we wrap this show up. If you want to come up and give any thoughts, questions, anything about the game, Paul DePodesta leaving finally, the trade deadline, Tommy Rees, any of that stuff, get your hand up and come on up here. I'll give you guys a couple minutes to decide if you want to. If not, then we'll just wrap it up. But to kind of reiterate from the top of the show, Paul DePodesta gone, heading over to the Colorado Rockies. Was it Tony earlier talking about maybe this was like a, hush hush behind the doors, like Haslam saying, hey, we're not going to fire you, but maybe you should go find another job. I don't know about that necessarily, unless we start getting some reports like that, because it seems like he saw an opportunity in baseball and took it, because I think that's probably where he's more comfortable. He's definitely not a football guy. And if the Browns were going to fire him, I feel like they would have done it already.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, he's in a decade run now, and you gave the record. It's not good. At some point, like, if you're a great sales guy, you move to a company, the sales ain't going your way, you're just going to go to what your bread and butter is, and that's what he's doing. He's seen the writing on the wall. Whether the Browns want to get rid of him or not, he can't be enjoying himself. I mean, I would even be, if I was Stefanski last year, I wouldn't be enjoying myself. I would be looking for other stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I'm Jim Schwartz, you constantly keep selling out my defense with this awful offense, I would be looking for something else. So there's got to be a bit of not locker room, dismay, but there's got to be a little bit in the coaching ranks too. They're like, I know they want to do a job, but at some point you want to have a good time too.
Yeah. And like Colton in the chat says, it's strange though that it happened coming off of the bye week. Yes and no. Also simultaneously taking place here was the official end of the MLB season. Sorry, Kenny, I know your Blue Jays didn't pull it out. That was a rough one, man. But so I don't know if that had anything to do with it, with the timing of this. Like these organizations in baseball are kind of waiting until the official offseason. I have no idea when you're allowed. I don't know anything about baseball. I don't follow it like that. So we'll get Jordan up here to kind of wrap things up for the day. Jordan, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on, y'all?
So
Do you guys follow Chef Zay?
Yeah.
yeah, I know of him.
Okay, he swears that we're going to see Deshaun Watson this season
So does
or
Justin.
next season. What are you guys' thoughts?
So does Justin. Justin has been saying this since the summer. He's very afraid that we're going to be seeing Deshaun Watson on the field next. So before we see Shador.
I'm pretty sure his take said that if it was him, he would have Deshaun Watson as our starter next year and have Shador sit behind him. I don't know what he did with Dylan Gabriel, but he said that he wants Shador to fight against Deshaun Watson for the starting spot. That just sounds so bad to me, but his takes are really good. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, I like
that. Was the worst one I've ever heard.
Yeah. Kenny, what do you got for this?
You know what? You want to sell your new stadium. They're already throwing the values around of what it's going to cost. And what is it, like double, triple, quadruple the price for the PSL rights or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to put the guy out there and try and sell these to guys that currently have season tickets. I just don't see it happening. You know, do they want some return for their money based on what he didn't play? I could see that happening. The pessimist in me as a Browns fan fears that happening, but the realist in me goes, it just doesn't make financial sense for them to trot him out there and just piss off an already pissed off customer base that is the Cleveland Browns fans.
I will say this, it's not an impossibility, because you got to remember, like, they've been talking about this forever now. Like, there's going to be a point, I think, unfortunately, where he's going to be cleared. He's going to be medically cleared. And I think we're going to have to, and definitely for next season, because we can't get rid of him. We cannot get rid of his contract until after 2026, the offseason of 2027. That's when we can get rid of him.
Yep.
So he's going to be on the roster. And say he's active, and there's a game where Dylan Gabriel gets hurt in the middle of the game and Shador Sanders has back tightness and he's not active that game, we could see Deshaun Watson. So it is a possibility. It's a very realistic possibility. There's an avenue for that to take place. For them to intentionally do it, to say, hey, we are going to intentionally, like, Deshaun is the starter for week whatever, I don't know. Jimmy Haslam has called him a failed trade too many times for me to think that's happening this season, but you never know.
That's a great point, and I forgot to bring that one up.
Yeah. All right, guys. We're going to wrap this thing up. I got some editing to do because we had those freaking technical difficulties. I appreciate everybody sticking with us through all that crap and everything and having a good time here with us on a Thursday evening talking about the upcoming game. Browns at the Jets on Sunday. It's going to be a suck bowl of two terrible teams, but hopefully our team is the least suck. I mean, the thing is, I haven't even said this yet.
Yeah.
We cannot lose to the Jets. They are actively tanking. They are actively trying to get the number one pick in the draft. That's what they want. They don't even want to win games. So if you lose to a team that doesn't want to win, is not trying to win, man, you suck. So the Browns have to win this game. Blake said it the other night. I agree 100%. As far as a 2-6 team goes, this is a must win, which is crazy, but it is. So I appreciate everybody tuning in. Thank you guys. Again, if you want to be part of these Dogpack Discord episodes every week moving forward, head to jointhedogs.com, become an official Dogpack member on the Patreon page. And we will see you guys Sunday night after the Jets game when the Browns hopefully come away with a W. We'll see you guys later. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Browns fans, if you're like me, the stresses in life only increase the older you get. Your family, your job, your bank account, just a few things that drive the cycle of stress every day. And if you have people constantly depending on you, it can put a heavy weight on your mental health. What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? Why does no one appreciate everything I'm trying to do for them? If these thoughts have ever darkened your day, 1, you're not alone, and 2, I highly recommend talking to someone, and that's where BetterHelp could be the right resource for you. Head to BetterHelp, HELP.com/dogs, DAWGS for 10% off your first month of talk therapy. Just fill out a simple questionnaire and BetterHelp will match you with the best therapist for your needs. And if it's not the right fit, you can switch therapists at any time for no extra cost. BetterHelp is 100% online. You can talk with your therapist on the phone, via face chat, or even through text message. Your therapist will listen, ask questions, and help you see things from new perspectives. So what are you waiting for? Take the first step to making positive improvements in your life. Head to BetterHelp betterhelp.com/dogs now for 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/dogs for 10% off your first month.